Mayor Barrett requests to introduce Public Works Director Robert Ward to provide a brief update on the current drought emergency in the city of Haverhill.
Mayor Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. President. Councilors, I have Bob Ward here to talk about the change in our status. We've been blessed, although on the weekends you don't think it's a blessing, to have a bunch of rain over the last few weeks, and we've made some strides in our levels, and I think Mr. Ward will go through that. I think we can go to the a different level, but still be careful of your water usage.
Well said, Mayor.
Welcome, Bob.
Robert Ward, City of Haverhill, DPW Director. Good evening, Mr. President, members of the City Council. So I have a brief PowerPoint. A few of the slides you've seen, I'll go through really quick. The first thing you notice on the front page was that the word emergency drought was taken off the cover sheet of the PowerPoint. So that's great news. Background, we've talked about that. Lack of precipitation over the winter resulted in the declaration of drought emergency on March 18th. And with that came restrictions on outdoor water usage, or even, well, prohibited outdoor water usage in a lot of cases for outdoor water usage. Next slide. So we've talked about the drought management plan the city has. There's 4 levels: the watch, the warning, emergency, and the critical. So we have crossed the line into the drought warning zone over the last couple weeks with all the rain we've had. Next slide. So you can see, so the top green curve is the 35-year average, and those different color bands are the different drought zones. So you can see that blue line, which is the level of Canosa Lake. So we're up at about 109.6 feet. So we're well into that drought warning zone. And with that drought warning comes the basically voluntary outdoor water use. So we're lifting the outdoor water use prohibitions and restrictions as of tonight, beginning tomorrow. We've come up, if you look at the curve, we've come up quite a bit over the last, especially the last 2 weeks. As the mayor mentioned, we've had a lot of rain. In fact, we're May 13th today, and we're already up around 4 inches of rain for the month of May. The average for May is about 3.7, 3.8 inches, so we've far exceeded that. Hopefully, although I will say on the weekdays, hopefully we still continue to get some rain. But as you can see, the upward trend is looking really, really good right now. But I just caution people that, go to the next slide. Just caution people that we're going in a great direction, we're going up pretty quickly, but just to caution people that we still are 4 feet lower than the average level for this time of year. We're still about 5 feet from being full. So, you know, to be really comfortable, we like to be at least at the average. So we still are behind right now on our lake levels. On the plus side, with all the rain, we're running all of our pumps right now. Millvale Reservoir, Crystal Lake, both of them are full, so we're going to be able to pump for a while here. Even if we don't get some rain, we'll be able to continue to pump for Millvale probably at least a month and a half. Right now, we're pumping at a rate of about 12 million gallons a day. The usage, citywide usage, is about 6 million gallons per day these days, so we're gaining about 6 million gallons a day in the reservoir. We're going to voluntary conservation, so people just keep in mind that it's very surprising how much water outdoor water usage uses. So that 6 million gallons a day in past years on our maximum days goes up to as much as like 9+ million gallons a day. So it is, outdoor usage does use a lot of water. Next slide. So the status change, we're drought warning, the drought emergency is done. The current status, drought warning zone, is voluntary. Although there is discretion with voluntary and mandatory within that drought warning zone, but we're in good shape with our reservoirs and trending in a good direction right now. Obviously, voluntary works. So we are requesting people really think about their water use, conserve water, use it wisely. And we will continue to monitor reservoir levels and make adjustments as needed. So, like I said, hopefully, if we get an average amount of rain the next couple months or so, we'll be in good shape for the rest of the summer and the fall. Next slide. The voluntary conservation measures for outdoor water usage. So reduce, or if you can avoid lawn watering, do so. The more rain we get, obviously, please shut off your lawn irrigation system if you can. If we're getting enough rain, you don't need to water it. You can, I believe, for irrigation systems, you can buy rain sensors or even soil sensors, so that it will operate the system based on what the grass actually needs for water or moisture. Use a watering can, hose with an automatic shutoff, nozzle, or drip irrigation. Water bags for trees are great. You just fill them up once a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is. We ask that the best times to water are obviously when the water's not going to evaporate. So before 7 a.m. in the morning or after 7 p.m. in the evening. If you wash your vehicles at a commercial car wash, if you can, uses a lot less water. Reduce or avoid washing sidewalks, driveways, patios, decks, those types of things. So, like I said, be wise about how you're using the water. And then the average resident's not going to have to worry about dust control, construction site cleaning, but obviously minimizing and avoiding water use there if possible. Next slide. And again, as always, conserve water indoors. So this is a big one. We see it with the Water Wastewater Abatement Board, and that's faucet and toilet leaks. So make sure you keep an eye out and listen for leaks in your plumbing, because number one, wastewater. Number two, it can result in extremely high bills, and at the abatement board meetings, we've seen bills from toilet leaks range in $5,000 to $10,000. So it's shocking how much a toilet can leak. Shorter showers. We give free water saving fixtures away in the water billing office. I think shower heads and maybe some faucet aerators, so those are free of charge in the water billing office. And as I mentioned, the car wash thing. Next slide. So that's it.
Thank you, Bob. We do have questions. Councilor Hobbs Everett.
Thank you. So, thank you for the update. Can you just speak to, I know you've mentioned it before, that this is really due to the lack of snow and lack of rain, and not necessarily due to the increased development. I have got some questions from constituents recently. So can you just speak to that a little bit? And also if we will see an estimated increase as some of these new developments start to fill up.
So, yeah, new development does use a little more water, but compared to the Mother Nature, it's minor, very small. If you look at our annual usage, year to year, over different weather patterns, so if you look at and I know this in dollars better than actual volume of water, but if you look at a dry summer versus a wet summer, our revenues could swing $500,000. That's just because of Mother Nature. Development, the recent development, if we look at the last 5 years, it's it's almost hard to see the increase if you're looking at flows. So Mother Nature really, rules the roost when it comes to, how much water is being used.
Thank you.
Hopefully that answers your question.
No, I appreciate it. I know you've mentioned it before. I just wanted it to
Yeah.
be reiterated so the folks
Yeah,
can
the other
understand.
thing, all the new buildings are all built with water-saving fixtures and all those types of things, so.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Counselor Ferrera.
Thank you. Bob, a couple of questions for you. The voluntary ban went into effect in November? Was that when the voluntary ban?
Yeah,
went
there
in?
was voluntary in November.
So how
Wouldn't
effective?
call it a ban, but a voluntary,
Well,
yeah.
yes, the practices, right?
Yeah.
So how effective did you see that in regards to water use with a voluntary ban in place at that time?
So I think we did it in late November. We don't really see anything because people have already stopped outdoor watering and all that. We're required by city ordinance sometimes to do what we do with our water conservation ordinance. So when our levels hit that trigger, then we're required to do that. But late November, everybody's done for the season with the gardens, outdoor
Right.
watering, any outdoor activities really. So it didn't have any visible effect on anything.
And I think generally speaking, people's water bills are highest the quarter that includes our summer months. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the August 1st bill and the November 1st bill
Or the biggies?
are the big ones that include summer water use.
So I guess my concern is that having 4 inches of rain in this month so far and being slightly above average for that, when we're looking ahead at trends and what our water table levels are and things like that, I worry about how fast everyone's planting their gardens right now, how few people I saw with their irrigation systems was impressive, but I didn't personally see in my travels around the city big changes with people washing cars or hosing down sidewalks in front of business and stuff like that. So I'm curious. I guess my concern is, are we jumping the gun to turn this off a little too soon to not know if our levels are maintaining for longer with the lake filled to the level it is?
Yeah, you have a legitimate concern. So when we do this, we look at what we have in Millvale Reservoir, Crystal Lake. We know what we have for volumes, what we can pump and get to Canosa Lake. So if we have 90 days of pumping from Crystal, we have a month of pumping with Millvale with 2 pumps, and then it cuts down to 1 pump. So we have another month there. So we have a few months with that probably that will last. But like on one of the slides, we gotta keep monitoring it and see how it goes. And the trend is gonna go up. It's gonna continue up for the foreseeable future, a month or 2 or 3. But we'll keep going, and if the trend starts to turn the other way, then we may have to do something else.
Okay.
And I'll just weigh in too. We hesitated to lift this. We let it play out a week or two as we entered what should be the voluntary zone. We let it ride a while to make sure that the trend continued. If for some reason drought comes back in, we can adjust accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think for me, speaking as a vegetable farmer, I'm watching my levels closely too, right? And I know our water levels dropped. I know our spring fed situations are still recovering from last year and from previous years' water levels being so low and not having a good recharge over the winter. And I don't necessarily see that we've got great conservation practices in place here that is showing dividends to either people in their own water bills at home when they receive them, or in our levels in our water so far. So, and I think I asked before when we talked about this too, is it time to update when we pull the trigger to put the mandatory ban in place? Because living so close to the Winnikinny Basin area and seeing that sandy beach get bigger and bigger was really concerning for a really long time. And I would hate to see us get that low again in the height of the summer months and have to try to wait it out all fall again. Year over year, we know that can be dangerous, considering our water levels. So are you planning to look at those ordinances or whatever your rules are that would take that into consideration again?
Yeah, we can take a look at that. I think we had this conversation
Yeah.
maybe the first March 18th when I first came in with this, and I was looking at those trigger levels to see if it's really appropriate. I think with this whole thing and having gone through it and seeing these levels, we may have some data that we can look at to see if it's worth considering some changes. The other piece, long term, we're looking at, we have that Merrimack River supply project. So, that one, the well is actually under design right now. The next big step is property acquisition.
Okay. Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. And Counselor Mitchison.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just I guess, barely related question. Can you give us a little bit of insight on the Merrimack River levels and if flooding in Haverhill is expected? They are having flooding in Manchester, New Hampshire, and I guess it's also going to happen in Lowell as well.
I was looking at there's a USGS gauging station right down at our marginal pump station behind the post office. So if you go on to, it's on the NOAA website, and it's a USGS gauging station. You can go on there and take a look at it. It's interesting. You can see the tidal effects in Haverhill. It's 3 to 5 feet with the tide in Haverhill. Yeah. And one of the important things they do is they forecast the Merrimack River level out several days, because when you get a rain like over the weekend, the river's not going to peak or crest for several days. So they forecast that sort of climbing and that peaking on that website. And when I was looking at it yesterday, it's not going to get to a level here that's going to be a problem, basically.
Okay.
Like we were
Thank
talking
you.
about earlier, my gauge is the lower flood wall.
Yes.
We're not there.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Lewandowski.
Thank you, President Sullivan. So, just so I understand it and so people understand it, you follow the Mass DEP regs in Chapter 250, Article 6 regarding the Mass Drought Management Plan. This is all in accordance with the plan, is that right?
Chapter 250 is the city code chapter.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, but it's based on you take the language from Mass DEP as to their drought management plan and what the different levels are and when you're supposed to adjust, right? I mean, you follow that, correct?
I'm not sure we take exact language from them. We did this quite a few years ago. We have
Yeah.
to come up with a plan based on, their requirements and their criteria.
Right,
Submit the plan to them and they approve it.
right. And you've done that,
Yes,
and it has been approved?
yes,
And so the actions that the city is taking is in accordance with the plan that's already been approved by the state that you submitted?
that's correct.
Okay. And it's also my understanding that residents could report, just generally speaking, any dry conditions or conditions of concern that they might have directly to Mass DEP, because they have like a drought task force or something like that, and they keep track of different levels. Is that your understanding as well?
I assume they can, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So there is corrective action, or there's action that residents could take if they were concerned about something and they wanted to report it directly to the state, but you are following the regulations here.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you, Counselor. There are no more questions. Bob, thank you for the update, and we will hope for some rain, but only during the week.